What's going on, guys? My name is Derrick. Welcome to my channel, Superbike Life, or ESBKLife for short. In this latest episode of my wreck bike rebuild video series, sponsored by Bellissimoto, where I take this 2012 MV Agusta F4RR Corsa Corta, and that's been down a couple of times, and we restore it to one badass street bike with the help of Bellissimoto and a few of my other sponsors. It has certainly been a while since I posted a video, certainly of the wreck bike rebuild. Between June and mid-September is our no-ride month. It's just super hot to do anything. Too hot to ride, too hot to record in the garage, even with my little portable AC over there. Excuse the noise if you hear that in the background. But it's starting to cool down a little bit, so I should start getting into the regular swing of posting videos again on a regular, 1 or 2 a week or something along those lines. But anyway, this video for the wreck bike rebuild will be relatively short. Why? Because it's pretty much ready for paint. We're just going to throw a few parts on it, put the panels on it, and then get it over to my painter Mo Madrid of Bad Boy Designs. So before we do that, I'm going to run the intro and I'm going to bring you over here to show you what was holding us up. So be right back. Welcome back, guys. So before we start throwing parts and panels back on this bike, I want to show you a couple of things that I took care of off screen because they really weren't worth putting on camera. But if you remember my last wreck bike rebuild video series, I struggled to get this part, my carbon fiber tail section from Carbon Vani. I struggled to get that on the bike and get it aligned properly. I had to do lots of trimming and things of that nature. And I reached out to Carbon Vani, and they sent back, we actually, sent a few videos back and forth, a few emails back and forth on what I could be doing wrong and what might be the problem. But it turned out that the problem was actually my bent subframe. So you notice this subframe on here is silver, and we had already powder coated it. So thanks to my new acquisition, that bike over there, the 2010 F4 track bike, I was able to figure out what the problem was here. And the problem, if I remove this seat real quick, the problem was that my subframe was actually bent. And it was slight. It was bent right in this section here on both sides, and it was bent down a little bit, which is why when I put the carbon fiber tail section on, I couldn't get it low enough to cover this heat shield panel. So basically what I did after I calmed down is I did some digging and found out that this part number for this subframe is the same part number for the black subframe or silver subframe, the one that we had on here originally that I powder coated. It's the same exact part number, with the exception of, let me yank this out because it's not attached. So on this subframe, there's one attachment point here. The lowers are the same, but on the top here is just, you can see there's just one extension on the outside. On the one that I swapped over on the 2010, our black one over there are 2 attachment points. So it's runs on the outside and then one on the inside. And I vaguely remember there being a service bulletin where MV recalled a number of these, I think, and swapped out the subframe, so that could be the issue. If you know, please leave a comment. I didn't do a whole lot of research on that, but that is the only difference between these 2 subframes. So this one is silver. I'm not crazy about it, so I'll probably, once I get it back from paint, I'll probably take this off and have it powder coated. But that was the problem there. The subframe was bent. We didn't see it, or I didn't notice it. Certainly you guys didn't notice it, or you would have told me. But that was that issue. The other issue that we had was the airbox. So if you remember when we finished up, I had put the stock airbox back on because I couldn't get the tank and my carbon fiber airbox from Moto Composites to line up properly. And the problem was, let me spin this tank around here. The problem was these little alignment dowels. Again, I was seeing red mist by the time when I was installing this, and with all the issues with the fairing, carbon fiber fairing not fitting, I was just seeing red mist and just wasn't thinking clearly. But these little alignment dowels did not line up in those little holes. The holes were too small. So basically, I So basically I took those dowels off, I ground them down a little bit over there on my bench grinder, and I got my Dremel and I dremeled out those holes a little bit, and lo and behold, it fits. So we're back in, which is really good because I really wanted to use this carbon fiber airbox. So we're back in play with the carbon fiber airbox. So that's all good. The airbox cover is fitting properly. The tank is now fitting properly. My carbon Vani tail section is now fitting properly. The only problem now is we have to get this powder coated black so that it goes with the subframe over here, or the engine mounts. I don't know what you call those things. And yeah, that's about it. The other thing, or at least that's it with those issues. The other thing I did was I swapped out the dash. So if you remember, I had this dash over here that was working fine, but it developed a crack on my way back from New England. So we swapped that out. This one's a little bit dirtier, but there's at least no crack. The other thing that I did was I swapped out the throttle tubes. Why? Well, because the stock one looked like this. Looked like a dog ate it or something along those lines. I don't know. I assume it happened when the bike went down. So I swapped those out. So we got a new throttle tube. Everything is working well there. So now all we need to do is throw the panels back on it. We are also going to be installing our upper triple clamp here. I originally intended to wait until after I got this back from paint, or I actually got the entire bike back from paint, but we're going to throw it on now. There's no reason not to put it on here. It's from Performance Parts in Germany. Nice quality. We'll put it on and see how it fits, but very nice quality there. We'll also be installing putting our mirrors back on, and we're going to wait to install my zero gravity double bubble dark smoked windscreen. No sense in putting that on because the painter's gonna have to take it off to paint the bike anyway. So we're gonna make this as easy for him as possible. I won't bolt everything down super tight, but I will at least get the panels on here so that he can start lining up things, painting them properly, and so forth. The last thing is that the wheels are on order. They should be here probably by the time the bike gets back from paint. So we're getting towards the end of this thing, or at least for the series anyway. There's still a bunch of small bits and pieces that I want to change, but we're getting there, guys. So let me switch over to the other camera over there, and we'll start throwing some parts on this thing. So we are going to install our triple clamp first. So I'm going to loosen the triple clamp bolts. And maybe not. We'll see. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to remove our steering damper. It's probably threaded. All right. Well, again, because I can't turn this, I got to get some things out of the way. Having a deep moment. Just making life more difficult for myself. I don't know why. This is an overly large extension, but okay. I'm gonna and we are off. I didn't expect the ignition to come off with it, so we'll disconnect that. Looks like 2 6mm bolts underneath. Okay. So now we can get to the underside so that we can remove the rest of the steering damper. Okay, so there we have it. Triple clamp off. We'll swap over this bracket here and then reinstall the other one. All right, so we got the bracket all mounted to our new triple clamp as well as our steering damper. Now we're just going to put it back on here once we get our ignition switch installed. Right there, get the other bolt. I'm using blue Loctite, just in case I want to get this out at some later date. Okay. Rubber mallet. Make sure the pins on if you have stock clip-ons, make sure the pins line up in the correct area. All right, we're on there. Again, more blue Loctite. All right, that is it. Our nice performance parts. DE, triple clamp is on. Again, we'll change out the steering stem nut once it gets back from from paint, and we may actually, because I'm gonna have to service these Olin's forks anyway, so while we're doing that, we may have these fork caps anodized black or something like that, just to go along with it, because I'm not crazy about the silver as well as the bracket that we just put back on here either. I'm not crazy about that silver. So we may do some stuff a little bit later, but that's not important right now. So let's throw some body panels on this thing, shall we? All right, guys, that is a wrap for this latest episode of my Wreck Bike Rebuild, sponsored by Bellissimoto. We got all the fairings on, we got the tank back on, mirrors, we replaced our triple clamp, got everything on. It's looking pretty good, so we are ready for paint. I think sometime next week I will reach out to Mo of Bad Boy Designs. We'll schedule a time. We'll bring the bike over there. It'll probably be several weeks to even several months before I see this bike again. And hopefully by that time, we'll have the wheels in, a new set of stickies. We'll get those mounted up. And then we'll probably get this thing over on a dyno as soon as possible, because I want to see what it does compared to my track bike. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do a dyno, we'll do a ESBKLife dyno shootout. We'll have both MVs, the BMW and the Aprilia over there. We'll do it all up real big. But anyway, that is it. I am Derek. This is your Superbike Life. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, or smash it if you didn't. But until next time, guys, take care.